Hey guys, hope all is well. Just wanted to kind of go over the non-special angle review real quick. I'm going to post the answer key along with the video so you guys can kind of go just to check to see how you did. For the most part, as you've been submitting them, they look really good. Um, so here's where we have to go next. We have to now work with these non-special angles when we solve equations as well. So this last week and a little prior to break, we were going over how to solve trig equations, but it always worked out so that we were using pi over 3 or pi over 6 or pi over 2, one of our special angles. Well, it's not always going to be like that. We also have to be able and confident to answer problems that when we get answers that are non-special. All right, so this was just a recap of things that we had done months ago. Hopefully you found the Desmos user-friendly, easy to work with. I think the notes that I gave you I think you guys could have been able to follow along with that and just make sure. But tomorrow on Friday, day 5, what I'll do is I'll post later today. I'll post like a optional Zoom extra help session where we can kind of get together and talk, catch up, and try to go over any type of issues that you guys might have questions with. Okay, so real quick. Make sure you're in radians, okay? Make sure you're in radian mode. And every time you enter these, remember, just real simple, you're always going to use inverse and you ignore the negative sign, okay? So for number 1, for example, we're going to go to trig. We're going to use inverse of sine. I'm going to ignore the negative and just type in 1/5, all right? That number right there is our reference angle. It's not always our answer, but we use it to get our answers. Once we get our reference angle, we ask ourselves, all right, well, since we have sine here and sine is y, where is y negative? Well, it's negative in quadrants 3 and 4. And now we take our reference angle and we think in terms of pi. So right here on the x-axis would be pi. We're going to think of this as 2 pi. And I'm going to do pi minus my reference angle, so pi minus 0.201. Oh no, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to subtract. Actually, should be adding. I would be subtracting if I was in quadrant 2. In quadrant 3, we should be adding, so it should be pi plus our reference angle. And it should be, for quadrant 4, we would work with 2 pi, and we would subtract our reference angle. All right, so my 2 answers should be, we'll go 3 decimals, 3.343 and 6.082, okay? If there's a small rounding error, don't worry about it, but let's try to round to 3 decimals, okay? And that's what we would do. That would have to be our approach for every single one of these problems. Use inverse, ignore the negative to begin with, get your reference angle, then think about the sign as it pertains to which quadrants you should be in, okay? So for instance, let's jump to number 4. So I'm going to do inverse cosine. Again, ignoring the negative. That's my reference angle. Cosine is x, and we know that x is negative in 2 as well as 3. So in quadrant 2, it's pi minus my reference angle, which is 0.644, and it's pi plus our reference angle. And just make sure you're taking your time. You're not entering the wrong things, like, or subtracting when you should be adding, like I did a few in the last problem. So our answers here should be 2.498 as well as 3.786, okay? Let's just do one more, because like I said, I think looking at everybody's work, people had a really good concept of this. Let's do number 5. All right, let's work with tangent real quick. All right, so again, we're going to use inverse. So I'm going to use inverse tan of 4. All right, that's my reference angle. Now, where is tangent positive? Well, it's positive. Where can you take y, divide by x, and get a positive outcome? Quadrant 1 and quadrant 3, because both signs are either positive or both signs are negative. Both would produce a positive outcome. Anytime you're in quadrant 1, you'll notice your reference angle will be one of your answers. So all we would have to do in this problem for our second answer would be to add our reference angle to pi. So pi plus 1.326. All right, and there's our two answers. Okay, so this was just a quick review. Like I said, tomorrow I'll host a little Zoom, and we will begin on Monday solving equations with non-special angles. So you'll solve the equation, your answer will come out to looking like this. You'll have to use the calculator, use inverse, and work from there. Okay. So again, guys, I'll post this. You'll see this posted in Classroom. Take a look at it if you feel as though you need to. It's not mandatory, just optional. I'll also post the answer key if you just want to look at that. But be on the look for an announcement for what time tomorrow as far as Zoom goes. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good rest of the day.